All right, welcome to This Week in MLS. Calen Carr, of course, with my lovely co-host Susannah Collins. And congratulations, first of all, show off the bling.
This is the only time in my life I'll ever get to wear a
New York City Marathon, completed it, rocked it. I think you
finished
almost won. I was following basically
so close.
Off of
this close.
No, big
Off by 2
congratulations.
hours. Thanks, buddy.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
Life
Thank
goals.
you. Thank you. No, it was a great day. Awesome day.
Yeah.
But you were doing your own little marathon, weren't
Everywhere,
you?
yeah. I went to both New York City playoff games in one day.
Has anybody ever done that? That's like
there were a couple people I met on the train that
history.
did. It was really, really fun. Both teams didn't do so well in New York, but congratulations to Canada. They're both moving on to the first Eastern Conference Championship. First time in a conference championships, any team
very,
in
very
Canada,
cool.
so.
Very, very cool. We're going to get to those games.
Let's do it.
In a second. But first, we're going to talk about the Colorado LA Galaxy game. And thanks to Shkelzen Gashi. What a dart he fired into the back of the net. That put them up 1-0. But this game went 120 minutes without another goal. Had to go into penalties. And for Colorado, it was the man, Timmy Howard, just coming up so big, especially in those PKs. And Calen, you have to imagine that moment alone is why they bring a guy like Tim Howard to the team.
Yeah, well, probably some other moments as well. I mean, he's played a big role for them, and I think also just his presence, in the locker room, but then also on the field. You feel good if you're going into overtime or late into a game tied, knowing that you have that guy waiting to step up the way he did. This team I've been talking about for a long time. I've been kind of ribbing Andrew Wiebe here in the office because Wiebe keeps saying, I didn't believe in Colorado, writes a mea culpa article, and then picks against them after the first round. So, Wiebe, I got you on this one. Colorado keeps proving me right. I think this team's had 13 one-win victories before the playoffs.
Yeah.
And now, they know how to navigate these tight games in the playoffs, and they gave up only one shot on target all day.
It's a good sign for them.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the Galaxy a little bit. Gerrard and Keane's contract, they're up. Landon Donovan has said, that he was only coming back for this postseason. What's the outlook for them?
I'm not sure. I think Landon will come back. I would be very surprised. I always felt like you don't come back just for this last little stretch and then go away, especially the way the season ended. Not the best for him. So I think he'll be back. And then I'd like to see Keane back. I think he's a very important player for them going forward. I know he's a bit older, but I'm not sure with Gerrard. I know that's your guy. So
yeah, I think we might have seen the last of him in a Galaxy jersey. But you know what? Good for him. He's had a heck of a career.
Yeah.
So.
And the Galaxy, it's hard to feel too bad for them.
He made his
so
PK
much.
too, so I was a little bit like, whew, whew, thank goodness.
Don't
Steven.
cry for the Galaxy.
Don't cry for the Galaxy. You know who we can cry for a little bit? Dallas. Man, they had a mountain to overcome in this one. They were down 3-0 in aggregate goals. They come back, they scored that first goal before the first half ends, and I kind of had a little glimmer of hope for them. They end up winning this one 2-1, but it wasn't enough. They lose 4-2 on aggregate.
I give them a lot of credit.
Huge amount of credit.
Because they came out with the right attitude.
Yep.
They really did. They pushed the game. Oscar had a really good game plan going into it. It's just when you're down 3 goals, the margin for error is so small. And they have that one play where Seattle begins to push a little bit higher up the field. Schmetzer talked about that after the game.
Yep.
And Tyrone Mears is able to pick that one off Zimmerman and square it across to Ladero. And from there, that was kind of all she wrote. But a great season from Dallas and Seattle. Who would have thought? Back in the Western Conference Championship.
It's kind of they knew exactly what they had to do in this game too, and I think for that reason alone, they deserve a huge amount of credit to be in this position where July 29th everybody had written them off, and then here they are. They're going to play in the conference championships. Yeah. It's incredible.
Brad Evans said, going into a game up 3 goals that they're going to come at you, but until you really feel that heat, that it's really hard to adjust. But they were able to get what they needed to get done. And, I think being attacking is a good formula for them. They can't sit back and absorb always, especially when you have the quality of a Ladero.
So, Calen, out west, it's going to be Seattle taking on the Rapids. How do you see these two teams matching up?
Are we going to go to one of these?
It's either Canada or or Colorado?
I think
what do we do?
I don't know. Wait, I think the fans should tell us
Where
we should go. Should
exactly.
we go to Seattle and Colorado?
We had a great time. We had a great
We
time
have so
in
many
Canada.
friends in Canada
I
now.
know.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tough one.
Okay.
Tough call.
Yeah, well, I think both these matchups are going to be really good. Of
Yeah.
course, you've got the natural rivalry with the Canadian teams.
Sure.
And then out west, I think these two teams really match up well. A lot of good central midfield play on both teams, and both teams can get goals going when they get hot. Obviously, Colorado's got the strong defense, so I really like this matchup here. I think it's going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be so fun to watch. All right, so let's move on to the first game that you made it to yesterday. You were at Red Bull Arena for the Red Bulls taking on the Montreal Impact. Montreal wins this one 2-1. They are moving on to the conference championships. Once again, the Red Bulls on the outside looking in. This is a position, sadly for them, that they have become accustomed to. But we have got to talk about the play of one, Ignacio Piatti. He was fantastic.
He was so good. I mean, such a joy to watch. His first touch is just immaculate.
Yeah.
And when you see him get faced up one-on-one, there's really nothing you can do. You know, he can take you inside. He wants to get to his right foot and get that little curler. But then when you shade him that way, he cuts you back across to his left and hits a banger. So it's really an impossible cover and impossible matchup. You just can't let your guy get isolated one-on-one. And the thing is, it only really happened once or twice in this game, and he punishes him for it.
Yeah.
And Drogba comes on late. Not a bad option to come off the bench.
No.
I thought it was big for him to be able to get a touch and a nice little assist just to keep him involved.
Absolutely.
And you realize, hey, this could be a great role for me leading to a championship. And I think this is the first time this team has ever won in Red Bull Arena, which is why I throw out this. They've never won. I saw Colorado's record at Seattle is 1-10-1, including the playoffs.
Okay, so
I don't really put too much stock into that because you watch a team like Montreal come in some and get the job done.
So, Calen, you talked about this last week, how Montreal is a team that's just playing with a huge amount of confidence right now, and some of the comments post-game definitely illustrated that. Ignacio Piatti literally said this. He called the Red Bulls a weak team in the playoffs, which is, a not so subtle dig.
He said they were a good team in the regular season.
He did say that, but he called them a weak team in the playoffs, and I'm just interested to get your take on that.
Well, I think you could tell there was a little bit of extra to this because the way Montreal celebrated on the field and the locker room was going crazy afterwards. The team's brimming with confidence, but also had a little bit of an edge to them where they, I think, felt overlooked. And, there's the big market, of course, with New York. They come down, take care of business. And I think there's something to what he's saying. I mean, obviously, the sort of numbers bear out that way, of course, with the Red Bulls being eliminated. But also, I think they've had some trouble with direct play and physicality. And I think Cabrera, Simon set the tone early, getting up BWP's back. In the midfield, those three guys in the middle for Montreal, just pit bulls, just fighting all day. And then they get out in the break, and even Piatti had his moments where he was bringing the physicality in the series. They really were able to impose their will, and this happened to the Red Bulls last year with Columbus. So this is a little bit of a larger story overall the Red Bulls would need to take a look at. But, we get mad at players when, sometimes they aren't giving us something interesting to say. Well, Piatti, tell us how you really feel, man. So,
he delivered.
And he backed it up on the field.
Sure did. All right, well, let's move on to the other game that you made it to, which unfortunately for NYCFC was pretty much over by the time you made it to Yankee Stadium.
Fans were literally filing out as I walked in.
Oh, man, I'm not surprised. This one was a whitewash. 5-0 win for Toronto, and it was just too much Giovinco, too much Josie Altidore. And Calen, we've talked a lot about both of these players throughout this season. At separate times, though, both kind of coming into form. Right now, they're both in form at the same time. And so my question for you is, how dangerous is this for Montreal, for any team that's going to face them in the playoffs?
I almost feel like you just have to try and starve service to them, which is hard to do, And Josie creates one out of nothing. It's basically just a long ball. But I talked leading up to this game about this center back pairing having trouble with the physicality of the Josie. Now the issue is he of course brings that to light, holds it off with an incredible strike on his goal. But the issue is you prepare for that physicality, and then you also got to worry about the guy underneath who's just buzzing about. Giovinco can turn on a dime like nobody else in this league. I mean, the way he turns on that first one, and then the little hesitation in the box to draw the penalty on the second. It's an impossible matchup for both. They bring such different qualities. I'm not sure they're always playing exactly together, but just their presence alone and the difference in their quality makes it really difficult for teams to match up.
How about NYCFC though? I mean, I was surprised. I was legitimately surprised at this result because I thought for sure they were going to show up for this game, score, had the potential to score maybe 4 goals, make this really interesting.
I wasn't surprised.
Really?
I wasn't surprised.
I was.
I mean, I think this is a team throughout the season that's shown that they can have an incredible result or just a complete disaster. And that's bared itself out in the playoffs. You look at a team like Colorado, that's a lot safer choice for me to stand out in the line and say, I know for a fact they're not going to get blown out of a game. They're going to be in it to the end. Now maybe a bounce goes here, a bounce goes there, but NYCFC, once they built that little hole, I knew that if Toronto was patient, which they didn't have to be for 5 minutes, that they'd be able to get it done. So NYCFC, I think that back line, they've got to sort it out. Playing out of the back, I know it didn't really burn them necessarily in this game, but it just not the best formula, especially for the playoffs. I think the teams that are being a little bit more pragmatic, being more physical, are the teams that are getting results right now.
So Calen,
yeah,
we've got this button.
Yeah, should we
here.
try and see what happens?
Do you want to see what happens when you push
nervous.
it?
Did you see that?
Whoa! Whoa!
Simon.
This is like a whole new aspect
level.
of this show.
Can we hit it again?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Who doesn't want more Simon yelling?
That's tremendous.
We did see that. Yeah.
We did see that.
Wow.
Okay.
Did you see that?
I saw that, and I also saw this. We talked about the Gashi goal, which was obviously amazing. That's not my did you see that. My did you see that is the tweet he sent out.
What'd he say?
Where he basically, it was a gif of the goal, and it just
yeah.
said, "This is my house." And I was like, "Woo!"
When you pull up from like 45 out, like Steph Curry.
Straight fire.
Just like
from
dropping
Gashi.
heaters. Yeah.
I like it.
You can
I'm
tweet
into
stuff
it.
like that. All right, my did you see that was Patrice Bernier inviting me.
Again?
I'm on the guest list if they win it all, because we're best friends now. Roll that sound.
What's up, man? Congrats, man. This is getting ridiculous now. Like, do I get a ring if we go all the way, or do I get like?
Maybe we got to give you an official title to get on the road trip with us.
Okay.
So.
At least let me come to the after party.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If we go all the way, yeah, we'll put your name on the list.
Do you get a +1 to the after party?
Yeah, you of course. Always my +1, Susanna.
I won't.
I mean, you got a gold medal.
I won't wear the medal.
How could I say no?
I won't.
You could just flash it, and they'll let you into any party.
Guys,
Yeah.
see this? You see this? Sweet. Man, so there's an international break coming
Yeah.
up. So no MLS for a couple of weeks, but no rest for the weary, people. I am off to Columbus. I'm going to be covering the U.S. men's national team. They're playing Mexico in the Hex on Friday. Super excited.
Dos a cero.
Yeah, what are you going to be up to?
I'm going to watch that game on TV.
Calen.
I'm going to run a marathon. No, I'm not. Yeah.
Taking it easy.
I'm going to hold down the fort right
Thank
here.
you.
Protect this table.
Look after the table, please.
Yeah.
Please don't let anything happen to it. Guys,
Important.
thank you so much for watching, and for all your U.S. men's national team coverage, you can still tune in to MLSsoccer.com, and Calen and I will be back in a couple weeks. And again, guys, hit us up in the comments. Tell us where we should go for these conference championships.
Western Conference, Eastern
West,
Conference,
East, we need to
Canada,
know. We're
US,
gonna keep living that vlog
Colorado.
life. Where should we go? Let us know. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.